amigos? Welcome to the Football Amigos show. It's your boy Mide. As always, welcome back to another week of the Premier League. Of course, a lot of teams were involved with FA Cup games and, of course, penalties as well. Remember, FA Cup, we don't do replays anymore from an FA Cup rule perspective. You play the game, 90 minutes. Once that's done, you jump into extra time. If that game isn't over by extra time or no one wins, you jump into penalties. Awesome, awesome reactions really from a very busy week of football as we move on to games 21 and 22 from a Premier League standpoint. Yes, both of our all three of our teams have have two games each between, let's just say, between Tuesday and Sunday of this coming week. So we are very excited to bring that to you, amigos. But before we start, Amigo Ayo, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, Mita. This is the best day I've had in all year. All year.
That's not being sarcastic. How are you?
This
Don't
is-
worry, we'll keep the therapy going. Amigo Sam, how about you? You excited for this week?
I'm excited to go beat Nottingham Forest in their tough
I,
man.
I wouldn't be too bold. That's a good team this season.
I
That's a
know.
very
I
good
don't
team.
like them. The only team that defeated me at Anfield. They got the 4-0. That's what I want.
Oh wow! Can't wait to unpack that prediction. All right, we'll start with Arsenal first. Arsenal, both games are at home. They are first playing. They have a derby against Spurs, which I'm very excited for. I would love to, of course, hear Ayo's thoughts on that game. And right after that, they will be playing Aston Villa in the weekend as well. We will start with the Spurs game. Ayo, based on Arsenal's recent struggles putting the ball at the back of the net, how do you see them making improvements in preparation for both games? And what will be your predictions for both games?
I've never been uncertain and very reluctant to predict a game for Arsenal as I have in this moment. They seem lacking in conviction up front, and there is something missing that cannot be gained back either by coaching or even more training sessions. It's something that you have as a player or you don't, and there are not enough killers in that front line. With someone like Saka, I could be more confident that regardless of how the game goes, there's enough quality there to create those moments that create separation. And these are the kind of games for which you need that. And so, not having him go into these games on the back of two demoralizing losses, on the back of having such a quick turnaround time between games, I'm not very confident of a convincing win. I do think that it's Tottenham. If you're going to see the best and the most disciplined and the most driven Arsenal, you will see it versus Tottenham. We have been beating them pretty regularly, and so I hope and I pray that it doesn't change this time. I get some confidence in the sense that we're at home, and so that should help. I hope the fans behave themselves and don't leave after 80 minutes, and they can be behind the team. But I'm thinking something tight, 2-1. And then with the Aston Villa, I actually think see us losing that game, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah,
Even at
they
home?
they have a number. They have a number. The the home games have not been the fortress that we wanted it to be. It's just not gone that way. We lost so many home games. I thought we'd be more secure and more solid. But if you have a counter attack, the defense are making a lot of mistakes. So you can trust yourself in those one-on-one moments. And I think Aston Villa create those moments and finish those moments better than Tottenham. And so I can see that coming against us. But with a Tottenham game, I know we'll win, but it'll be a fight. They'll probably dictate play. And I just don't think we have enough of the transition quality. That's what I'm worried about. It's not so much like some teams can give another team the ball and say, "Come at me, and we'll cut you." When we create those one or two chances throughout the game where you get the goals, we've shown that we can create the chances, but somehow no one's scoring. Everyone used to complain that we're not creating enough open play chances. Now you're creating all of them, and apparently, I guess that's why they weren't even trying to create open play chances in the first place because they knew no one could score. So like, why just put it out and wait for Gabriel to try and do something? Yeah, it's tricky. I think we will beat Tottenham just out of grit, and so 2-1. But I really do see us losing to Aston Villa. It could be 3-1. It could be 2-0. Yeah.
Would there be a challenge for the likes of Trossard, the likes of Martinelli, and the likes of Sterling to start adding to the goals and not just relying on Havertz all the time? Because at this point, you don't have a Saka, you may not have a Jesus because he was stretched off in that FA Cup tie against Man United. Someone has to
It's
pick up the slack.
it's gonna come from the center further down the field if we're gonna get the goals. It's gonna come from Partey. Uh, it's gonna come from Rice. I don't know. I keep
Your,
forgetting his name. It's
your
gonna come from
defender,
Rice. No, maybe
right?
even Gabriel too. Yeah. Martinelli is short of confidence, and you can tell where he plays. He doesn't back himself. He doesn't back himself for shots. He doesn't back himself from take-ons. And I don't see the if you can't fix it by that, no one can give it to you. Havertz needs to be rested. He didn't make the training for the Newcastle game, and he still started. And that was 3 games. What's it called? Between now and here, he's doing everything I know, but without rest, I just don't. That there needs to be space between everything that's going on that gives them ability to reset and go again. And there's just not that space to reset. And so I don't see I see more of the same,
So your
really, from
prediction against
Arsenal.
Aston Villa,
Yeah.
what would
Sorry?
that be? Your predictions against Aston Villa, what would that be?
Oh, 2-0 loss or 3-1 loss. They're
Wow.
just way more clinical.
Okay.
They're way more
Okay.
direct. And yeah, that's how I see it.
Final question. Would you take Watkins?
No,
Okay.
no.
Fair
He's not
enough.
what we need. Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough. We'll move on to our next game against for Liverpool. Liverpool will be playing both games away from Anfield. They will be going to Nottingham Forest. This is a team they play on Tuesday, by the way. This is a team that have been doing very well. They are top three right now in the entire league. They are very efficient. They know how to win games. They know how to defend well, and they are definitely punching above their belt right now. And of course, right after that, Liverpool is playing another team, Brentford. They are playing on Saturday away as well. This is another Brentford team that, on their day, they will score within the first 5 minutes of a game. That's just who they are. That they are one of the teams that have scored the most goals in the entire league this season. Tough games for Liverpool. Sam, we'll start with you. Is there a sense of revenge Liverpool would have against Nottingham Forest based on them beating them at Anfield earlier this season?
I wouldn't call it revenge because every time we label a game a revenge match, we tend to lose it. It happened several times against Real Madrid, even a few times against. I think there was one time against Man U. Was it Man U? Some, but I won't call it revenge. I will call it a game with a big prize to it. Um, Nottingham Forest is sitting pretty much behind Arsenal. They are now the competitor. So they're sitting behind Arsenal. They are a very strong competitor. It's crazy to even think about them as it being in top five because I remember was it last season that they almost got relegated. And so
Yes, it was.
they are a good team to watch. They can make you work hard. They are like the little Tom and Jerry, like they are like the one looking for trouble. They never stop running. My prediction will be a tie. My desire is that we win the game, but I know it's going to be an interesting game. They have very energetic Morgan Gibbs White and a very accurate Chris Wood in terms of his goal. Um, his goal. I wouldn't say inside now. I can't remember the word. It is on point basically. So it's a little scary to go against them, especially with our performances. in the last three games. They're not a team you want to go and you're excited about. But hopefully we come out with a win. On the other side, Brentford is also a team that their position on the table doesn't justify their efforts, their dynamics in games. They have Brian. They have Rusa as well, which is very, very a well on point man. If you put Wisa in, I can see Wisa doing even more than Alexander Isak right now. If you put him in a better team that can give him, um, I mean, he get all the passes, but if you give him a team that relies more on him, I think it gets good passes, but it's just their game style is different. But it's really, really interesting to be going against those two teams because I think they are both underrated. But my prediction for the Brentford will be a win for sure. It's going to be a rough game. It's going to be an interesting game going away, but we'll see. I'm ready to drop some points this week.
Mhm. Do you think Ancelotti is finding out how difficult the Premier League can be? And do you feel like the Alexander Arnold distractions are affecting the team, or it's just a matter of the team just going through a trough right now that they will eventually come out of? Because it's one thing to rely so much on Salah, it's another thing when Salah is not firing, who else can you call on?
Ghostbusters.
Good analogy, I like
Oh
it.
my god! I was about to say news.
Sorry, sorry. Back on
No,
track.
you
Yeah.
good. To answer your question, man, I don't think any coach will find out how difficult Premier League is when he gets the job. Everybody already knows that this league. I was looking at AC Milan, Inter Milan the other day, the final game that they had, and I was like, oh man, I used to love watching Juventus, watching Italian league, but there's just a huge difference, man. So any coach that say, "Oh yeah, Premier League is hard," when you started the job, you didn't do it. You didn't do your homework. Even Amaran is probably they probably knew coming into Premier League that this is not gonna be an easy team. Not because Man United is not the best right now, but we know the league is just rough. Look at them. They played 3 games in about 7 days, 7 or 8 days. That's a lot. So the second question is distraction. Absolutely. I think all of these things they have a way to influence or also affect our morale. To be honest, what is the club doing when you have not put a contract to the table, or maybe you have put a contract to the table, but players are not receiving it or something? It seems like players are more active in terms of trying to avoid not talking about contract than the club. You can tell the club is so passive. Player are trying to say, I don't want to talk about it, but I also want to talk about it. I'm giving you hints. I'm posting, I'm going on social media. So what I would do to the dressing room is okay, we're giving it our best effort, but at the same time, you also look at it like I'm more or less just like a number right now. Um, and also there's just too many noise, man. The time that we should be training, we're listening to all this news about our teammates. They kind of have a way to affect overall performance. But I don't want to take too much of our amigos' time. I think it's going to be an interesting week for Liverpool.
So you back them to win both games?
I think
They would probably tie. I'm okay with a tie. I see a tie against Nottingham Forest, but I see a win over Brentford, and I know Musala will get 2 goals at this week. Beat that Haaland, Musala.
I can kind of see that. I think there's more firepower for Liverpool against Brian Brentford's defense. The question would be how strong is Liverpool's defense against Brian Mbeumo and Lisa with the three players behind them. They find a way to get goals. Nottingham Forest, on the other hand, they have wingers and an attacking midfielder that are one of the most hardworking players I've ever seen in a team. And then you have the two defensive midfielders behind them. One of them is actually more creative than a lot of people give credit to. Ayo, you would know him, Anderson. I wouldn't be surprised if Tuchel will be looking at him. I wouldn't be surprised. He has this vibe with Morgan Rogers where they like to drive the ball at people. It's very rare for yours to. I think Foden is the only one that kind of see doing that. So they're just some players, and then of course you have Olai now on the right back having an absolute worldie of a season, but then you have the two very strong defensive center backs in Mihailovic and Moreno, and yet no one talks about their goalkeeper and how consistent he is as well. Again, all around solid players with a solid mentality and playing to Nuno Espirito Santo's tactics. It will be a very interesting game, and I'm looking forward to that. Speaking of looking forward to games, United, we have two games that if we play our cards well and somehow find a way to put the ball at the back of the net, we should get back to scoring at least 4 goals against Southampton. This is a team that they've accepted relegation. I've noticed their new coach now is playing a lot of players that have been on the bench more. He's trying to play them more to see if there's anything there. And players that have been on the reserve, he's playing them more just to see if they can get a response. United is playing at home. Again, if we play our cards well and we find a way to pull in the ball in the back of the net, and we play anywhere close to how we've been playing over the past 2 games, we should start winning games. We just have to learn to put the ball in the back of the net or get someone in the transfer window on loan to put the ball in the back of the net. Because right now, our strikers are not doing it. They're just not. Now, that game against Southampton, again, based on how we played within the first 25 minutes, I would predict a 2-0 win against Southampton. I hope for a 4, but I'll start with 2. Against Brighton, on the other hand, I will take it as a revenge. Amigos, I'll be honest with you. This is a Brighton team that beat us from behind in their home earlier in the season 2-1, where we had that defensive positional shambles at the back. This is a Brighton team that have experienced a lot of ups and downs this season, but they still play wonderful football. They do. They have been coached well and they play wonderful football. It's going to be a game where we shouldn't just assume we're going to beat them. They know how to put the ball at the back of the net. They know how to keep possession. They know how to defend well as a team. It's going to be a very interesting game for uh, Amarim to see if he can come up with something that works up front. Because it seems to me that everything else in defense and midfield is somewhat okay. Question marks are still with the goalkeeper. I would play by India personally. Up top, I would give Xerxes another chance because right now Hoyland is not he's not cutting it. But against Brighton, I would say another 2-1. I would say Brighton scores first. I just have this feeling that they will score first and we will find a way to get back and win that game. Of course, amigos, let us know your thoughts and your predictions for all 6 games. We have games 21 and 22 predictions. Quick recap, of course, the London Derby, Arsenal playing Spurs, and of course, right after that, they'll be playing Aston Villa. Ayo predicts, not recommends, predicts of course, a 2-0 win against Spurs and a 2-1 loss against Aston Villa. Liverpool, from a Sam perspective, believes that they will either draw to Nottingham Forest 2-2, which I can see would happen, but they'll definitely beat Brighton 2-3-0, or they might lose to Nottingham Forest. We'll see. And of course, finally, Manchester United beating Southampton 2-0. I'm hoping for
Well,
4.
I
We'll
feel
stick
like
with
Man
2 right
United will
now.
lose that game.
I'm not now. If they lose that game, we have a completely different story. But no, I don't
Because
think
it's
they
like a
will.
bell curve,
Brighton,
man. They
maybe.
will go up and down.
Dude, the
No, no.
Southampton
Ayo, go
Southampton
ahead.
is a puzzling team. It's like it's you go and I think everyone just misunderstood what was necessary. They don't have the quality to stay. There's no amount of coaching that will tell you you don't have the quality to stay. The smart choice was to make the team play to the principles improve throughout the course of the season. Yes, they'll still lose games, right? But they're gaining in terms of what they're doing.
And
Yeah,
beat,
like
yeah.
tactically doing, like learning everything they need to learn, and learning where they need to improve, and they go back down and they come back with a vengeance. What they have done is they've taken out the progressive, what's it called, coach, that's laying the blueprint of something that could be great, not quite, but could be great, and you've replaced it with someone that's grasping at straws. So you're losing the same games, right? And they're using just as badly, but you're not gaining anything. Now it's just horrible to watch. It's like you're going from something like you respected how valiant and how on the front foot and their desire and their attempt. Like they're like evil Knievel. Like you appreciate, you know, they lost badly and they crashed and burned, but you appreciated the attempt, to now where it's like they're nothing. And so I'm like, why did you make this choice to suck just as much and now play terribly? It's like one of those things that's like, yeah, they're gonna do ship a record number of goals this season. I don't know if anyone's beaten them, but yeah, it's gonna be bad. Yeah, you guys are gonna eat good. Yeah.
No, I agree with you, and I hope we take that to heart. But that Brighton game is one that I'm gonna keep an eye open about. I don't think it's gonna be as easy as I would like it to be. We'll see the United that comes out between both games and see there because some consistency there. Amigo Ayo, any final thoughts?
What a day to be alive, you know? It's tops and turvies. We're still getting surprised every week, you know? The narrative changes, the prediction changes. I'm hoping that the next time we see each other, the narrative would have changed positively for Arsenal and neutrally for all my friends. I don't want them to suck, but I also don't want them to gain any ground. Yeah.
We'll take that, Ayo. We'll
Pray for
take that.
neutrality
We'll
for the
take
rest of
that.
your season.
No, I want
Sam, we'll come
Arsenal
to
to
you. Any
suck.
final words?
I want him to buy a striker like Nunes. I want Man United to suck. I don't wish you guys well. Man, I mean, I wish you well
Hey,
personally, but your
honest,
teams, no,
honest opinions, and That's why
including
our
Man
Amigo
City
show is
and
for
Chelsea.
opinions.
All on your five,
By proxy,
four of
yeah,
your.
yeah.
By proxy, right? No, fun times, exactly. Fun times to be alive. Amigos, like, share, and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts and comments and your predictions as well. We want to hear from you. Let us know your thoughts. But as always, have a wonderful rest of your week. Looking forward to you on our next content coming up soon. Stay positive. We'll talk to you all soon. Take care.
By Amigos.
Bye.